The massive doors of the Grand Assembly Hall slid open with a deep hum. Hanul Park walked through them with steady steps. Her dark blue uniform bore the simple symbol of Earth, a green and blue circle. Behind her, 2 other humans followed. Woo-sung Kim wore the gray uniform of military service. Minji Cho carried a small bag of documents. The hall was enormous. 847 different alien species filled the seats. Some looked like giant insects. Others had tentacles instead of arms. A few glowed with their own light. They all turned to watch the humans enter. Hanul had done this walk many times before. For 20 years, she had been Earth's voice in this place. She had argued about trade deals. She had fought for human colonies. She had explained human customs to beings who thought humans were strange. Today felt different. The 3 humans reached the center platform. Hanul looked up at the towering seats around them. Thousands of alien eyes stared back. Some eyes were compound like an insect's. Others were just glowing orbs. A few species had no eyes at all, but she knew they were watching somehow. High above them all sat Vextar. His species ruled most of this part of the galaxy. His skin was purple and covered in scales. 4 arms extended from his massive body. When he spoke, his voice boomed through speakers. The Council recognizes Ambassador Park of the Terran Federation, Vextar announced. You have requested emergency session time. The Council is ready to hear your demands. Demands. That word made Hanul almost smile. For 200 years, every species that gained power came here with demands. They wanted new worlds. They wanted control of trade routes. They wanted other species to serve them. It was always the same pattern. Hanul activated the voice amplifier on her collar. Her words would reach every being in the hall. Honorable Council members, she began. I stand before you today not with demands, but with a simple announcement. A ripple of confusion spread through the hall. Some aliens chittered to each other. Others flashed lights in patterns that meant they were talking. The Vorthak delegation made the rumbling sound that showed surprise. The Terran Federation hereby withdraws from all galactic negotiations, effective immediately. The hall fell completely, silent. Even the constant hum of the air recycler seemed to stop. Hanul continued speaking into that silence. We will no longer participate in council sessions. We will not take part in territorial disputes. We will not join any military actions or enforcement operations. We are done. The silence broke like a dam bursting. Thousands of voices erupted at once. Some species roared, others screeched. The insect-like cliktars made a sound like breaking glass. Above it all, Vextar's voice boomed for order. Silence! Order! The Supreme Councilor's 4 arms gestured wildly. Ambassador Park, explain yourself. What are your terms? What do you want? Hanul looked up at him calmly. We want nothing from this council. We have decided we have nothing further to discuss with any of you. Woo-sung Kim stepped forward. His face showed no emotion. The decision is final. There are no terms to negotiate. A being that looked like a walking tree stood up in the lower seats. This was Councillor Bramthex of the Forest Worlds. This is impossible. Every ascending species makes demands. You humans have grown strong. Your technology has advanced. Surely you want to claim your place among the dominant powers. No. Hanul said simply. Vexatar leaned forward on his throne. His massive bulk cast a shadow over the human delegation. Your species controls 47 star systems. Your military has proven capable. Your ships appear without warning and disappear just as quickly. You have power, humans. Power demands recognition. Minji Cho opened her document bag. She pulled out a simple data crystal and placed it on the platform's transmission point. This contains the formal withdrawal notice. It has been transmitted to all member species. The hall erupted again. This time, the sounds were different. Fear mixed with the anger. The spider-like arachnons made rapid clicking sounds that meant they were calculating. The energy beings called luminals pulsed with colors that showed deep concern. From the middle seats, Quilnox rose. The security chief looked like a massive bear with 6 legs and gray fur. Ambassador Park, our sensors show human ships pulling back from contested zones throughout the galaxy. Explain these movements. We are leaving, Hanil said. All of our people, all of our ships, all of our operations outside human space. We are going home. But why? The voice came from Zarahai of the oceanic worlds. Her species lived in water and used mechanical suits on land. Your kind has always been involved. You mediate disputes, you explore new regions, you trade with everyone. Why stop now? Hanul was quiet for a long moment. Around her, hundreds of species waited for her answer. She could see confusion in every face, tentacle and sensory organ pointed her way. Because we are tired, she said finally. For 200 years, we have tried to be part of this council. We have followed your rules. We have accepted your decisions even when they hurt us. We have proven ourselves in your wars. We have shared our discoveries. We have saved worlds and species that asked for help. She paused and looked around the hall. And in all that time, not one of you has ever asked what humans want. Not really. You assume we want what you want: power, territory, control over others. You cannot imagine that a species might want something different. Vexitar's scales changed color, shifting from purple to deep red. Then tell us, what do humans want? To be left alone. The simple answer hit the hall like a physical blow. Many aliens leaned back in their seats. Others made sounds of disbelief. That is impossible, declared Thexpool, the military commander of the hegemony forces. No intelligent species wants isolation. Expansion is the natural order. Growth is necessary for survival. Woo-Sung Kim's voice was flat and cold. You speak for your species, Commander, not for ours. This is madness. Vexitar stood up to his full height. You cannot simply withdraw from galactic affairs. There are treaties, there are obligations, there are rules. Your treaties, your obligations, your rules. Hanil picked up her documents. We never agreed to be bound by them forever. Quilnock stepped down from his security station. His 6 legs moved with surprising grace for such a large being. Ambassador, my intelligence networks report something else. Human civilian populations are also being evacuated from mixed colonies. Even from worlds you have shared peacefully for decades. Why abandon friends as well as enemies? Minji Cho answered this time. Because we have learned that there is a difference between being welcomed and being tolerated. We choose to go where we are neither. The questions came faster now. From dozens of species at once, they asked about trade agreements. They demanded to know about shared research projects. They wanted to understand what would happen to the mixed colonies that humans and aliens had built together. Hanul let them shout for several minutes. Then she raised her hand for silence. Slowly, the hall grew quiet again. All human commitments will be honored during a 6-month transition period. After that, any species that wishes to maintain contact with humanity may do so through our embassy stations at the edge of our space. We will not prevent trade or communication. We simply will not come to you anymore. She looked directly at Vextar, and we will not participate in your endless wars over who gets to rule whom. This is unprecedented, whispered Zeph-Hai, the intelligence coordinator. No species has ever voluntarily withdrawn from galactic civilization. Then perhaps, Woo-Sung, Kim said, you should ask yourselves why. The 3 humans turned and walked toward the exit. Behind them, the hall exploded into chaos again. Species that had been enemies for centuries suddenly found themselves asking the same question. What would the galaxy look like without humans in it? As they reached the massive doors, Vextar's voice boomed one last time. You will regret this decision, humans. The galaxy is dangerous. You need the Council's protection. Hanul stopped and looked back. Counselor Vextar, in the past 50 years, every major threat to galactic peace has been stopped by human intervention. Perhaps you should ask who needs protection from whom. The doors closed behind them with a deep final sound. In the days that followed, human ships began disappearing from sensors throughout the galaxy. Not destroyed, not retreating in battle formations. Simply gone, as if they had never been there at all. The galaxy was about to learn what it meant to be alone. 3 months had passed since the humans made their announcement. Jiwan Lee stood in the cargo bay of the merchant station New Seoul, watching the last shipment being loaded. The boxes contained rare metals that only humans knew how to mine safely. After today, no alien species would get these materials from human traders. "Are you sure about this?" asked Kelthera, a blue-skinned trader from the Nexus Consortium. She had worked with Jiwan for 15 years. They had built a profitable partnership shipping goods between human and alien worlds. "We could continue our business privately, away from council space." Jiwan sealed the final container and checked her datapad. "The orders are clear. All human commercial operations in alien space must cease. No exceptions." "But why?" Kelthera's 4 eyes showed genuine sadness. "We are friends. We trust each other. Why must friendship end because of politics?" "Because it is not just politics." Jiwan turned to face her alien partner. "My people have decided that we cannot be part of a galaxy that sees us only as useful tools." Kelthera made a sound like wind chimes, which meant confusion in her language. "But humans are respected. Your technology is valued. Your military is feared." "Valued, yes. Feared, yes. But never truly accepted as equals." Jiwan picked up her personal bag. "When did the council last ask for our opinion before making a decision? When did any major species treat us as partners instead of junior members? Who should be grateful for attention?" The blue-skinned alien had no answer. On the frontier world of Haven, Do-yoon Choi packed his research equipment into transport crates. For 12 years he had studied the strange plant life of this world. He had worked with scientists from 6 different species. Together, they had discovered new medicines and better food crops. "Professor Choi, please reconsider," said Dr. Vorthax, his research partner. The being looked like a giant mantis with multiple arms, perfect for detailed lab work. "Our project is so close to completion. The cure for spiral plague could save millions of lives across dozens of species." Do-yoon carefully wrapped a delicate sample container. "The research will continue. All our data has been transferred to the joint database. You can finish the work without me. But your insights are unique. Your human perspective sees patterns we miss." Dr. Vorthax's compound eyes reflected genuine distress. "Why abandon science for politics?" "I am not abandoning science." Do-yoon sealed another crate. "I am taking it home, where it will not be used to justify treating my people as permanent junior partners." 3 of his other alien colleagues entered the lab. They had come to say goodbye. Professor Skelleth from the Crystal Worlds had brought a gift, a small sculpture made from living crystal that would sing soft melodies. Commander Yazek from the Water Worlds offered a rare pearl that could purify any liquid. Dr. Thanara from the gas giants had prepared a collection of poems written in light patterns. Do-yoon accepted each gift with genuine gratitude. These beings had been true friends and colleagues, but orders were orders. "We do not understand," said Professor Skelleth. Her crystal body chimed with each word. "Humans always seemed happy to work with other species. Your kind appeared to enjoy the diversity of galactic civilization." "We did enjoy it," Do-yoon admitted. "But enjoying something is not the same as being respected within it. We grew tired of being the newcomers who should feel honored to be included." Deep in space, Captain Min-Soo Yang guided his exploration ship Wanderer through the last system on their patrol route. His crew had been mapping this region for 2 years. They had discovered 17 new planets and made contact with 3 previously unknown species. "Captain," called Ensign Junho from the communication station, "we are receiving a transmission from Council Patrol Ship Dominant Force. They are requesting we stop for inspection." Min-Soo looked at the main screen. The Council ship was massive, easily 10 times larger than Wanderer. It bristled with weapons and showed the symbols of 5 different military forces. "Open a channel." The screen showed Commander Hextar, a being that looked like a walking tank with too many eyes. "Human vessel, you are ordered to stop for inspection. You are traveling through disputed space without Council authorization." Min-Soo kept his voice calm. "Commander, this space has been jointly patrolled by human and Council forces for 6 years. We have full authorization under Treaty 847. That treaty is void. Your species has withdrawn from Council authority. You have no right to be here. Actually, we have every right. We are leaving, as requested. Minsu nodded to his navigator. We will be out of the system within 2 hours. Not acceptable. You will submit to inspection and explain your presence in detail. Minsu was quiet for a moment. His crew watched him carefully. They all knew that Wanderer carried no weapons. The Council ship could destroy them easily. Commander Hextar, may I ask you a question? The alien leader made a sound that might have been agreement. In 6 years of joint patrols, how many times did Council ships ask human vessels to explain their presence in jointly controlled space? Hextar's many eyes blinked in different patterns. That is not relevant. It is completely relevant. The answer is 0. Council ships never asked because we were partners. Now that we are leaving, we are suddenly suspicious. Minsu stood up from his captain's chair. This is exactly why we are leaving. You will submit to inspection or face the consequences. The consequences of what? Leaving when we said we would leave? Minsu looked directly into the screen. Commander, we have broken no laws. We have violated no treaties. We are simply going home. If that threatens you, perhaps you should examine why. He nodded to Ensign Junho. The communication channel closed. Captain, said his navigation officer, they are powering up weapons. Are we still in Council space? No, sir. We crossed into neutral space 15 minutes ago. Minsu smiled. Then, let us show them how humans leave. He pressed a single button on his chair. Wanderer didn't jump to hyperspace like normal ships. It didn't open a wormhole or fold space. It simply wasn't there anymore. The Council ship's sensors showed nothing. No energy signature, no dimensional distortion, no trace of where the human ship had gone. On the bridge of dominant force, Commander Hextar stared at empty space. His crew ran every scan they had. The human ship had not jumped away. It had not cloaked itself. It had not hidden behind any natural phenomenon. It had simply stopped existing in that location. Sir, called his sensor officer, we are detecting similar disappearances throughout the sector. 7 human vessels have vanished in the past hour. All of them crossed into neutral or human space, then simply disappeared, back on Council Station. Nexus Prime. Intelligence Director HFY studied the reports flowing in from across the galaxy. Human ships were pulling back everywhere, not just military vessels, but civilian craft, research ships, and transport vessels. What troubled him most was how they were doing it. These are not normal departures, he explained to a gathering of senior council members. Human ships are not using any known form of faster-than-light travel. They are not following established jump routes. They are not using council navigation, beacons. Vextar leaned forward in his chair. Then how are they moving? We do not know. Our best scientists cannot explain the technology being used. Human vessels reach the edge of their territorial claims and then simply cease to exist on all sensors. Cloaking technology? No. Cloaked ships still have mass. They still affect gravity. They still produce heat signatures. These ships produce nothing. It is as if they stop being real. Counselor Bramthex of the Forest World spoke up. Perhaps they are destroying their own ships to prevent capture? Impossible. We have detected no explosions, no debris fields, no energy releases consistent with ship destruction. HFY displayed a star chart showing human withdrawal routes. They are going somewhere. We simply cannot detect how or where. In the communications center, technicians reported increasing numbers of messages being sent toward human space. Species that had never shown interest in humanity were suddenly trying to establish contact. Most messages went unanswered. The few replies that came back were brief and polite. Yes, humans were withdrawing. No, they would not negotiate exceptions. Yes, the embassy stations would remain operational for essential communications. No, they would not explain their new technologies. Trade. Administrator Quelix brought reports of economic disruption. Human-produced goods were becoming rare and expensive. Several manufacturing processes that relied on human techniques were shutting down. The humans were involved in more sectors than we realized, Quelix admitted. They did not just trade goods. They provided services, technical knowledge, and manufacturing processes that many species took for granted. Surely other species can replace these services, said Vextar. Some, yes. But humans had a unique approach to solving problems. They often found solutions that no one else considered. Without their input, several critical industries are struggling. Military Commander Thexpool brought even more disturbing news. Our analysis shows that humans were quietly involved in peacekeeping operations throughout the galaxy. Not just the major conflicts that made the news, small disputes, trade disagreements, territorial questions. Human diplomats and mediators helped resolve hundreds of minor problems that could have become major wars. How many conflicts are we talking about? In the past 10 years? 6 months after the humans withdrew, the galaxy began to tear itself apart. Su-Young Kang sat in her office on Earth, watching the news feeds from across alien space. As the former chief correspondent for the Galactic News Network, she now worked for human public information, documenting what happened when her species stepped back from galactic affairs. The holographic displays showed chaos on dozens of worlds. The border war between the hegemony and the Federation of Rings had exploded into full conflict. Trade routes that had been safe for decades were now battlegrounds. Entire star systems were cut off from commerce and communication. Show me the Calyx sector situation, she said to her AI assistant. The display changed to show a region of space near the galactic core. 3 different species were fighting over mining rights to a cluster of asteroids. The conflict had started as a legal dispute 2 weeks ago. According to archived records, this exact same dispute occurred 12 years ago, her AI reported. Resolution was achieved through mediation provided by human ambassador Taehyun Park. Total time to settlement, 6 days. Current conflict status, expanding to involve 17 additional systems. Su-Young made notes on her datapad. This was the pattern everywhere. Problems that humans had quietly solved were emerging again, often worse than before. Her secure communication system chimed. An encrypted message had arrived from outside human space. She opened it and found a desperate plea from Zarahai of the Oceanic Worlds. Su-Young, if you receive this, please respond. Our territory is under attack by the Crystalline Confederation. They claim we violated the Neutral Commerce Agreement. We cannot find the original document. Our records show that human mediators helped draft it, but we do not understand the technical language. Thousands of our people are dying. Can any human help us understand what we agreed to? So-Young stared at the message for a long time. She remembered that agreement. She had covered the negotiations personally. The document was complex because it had to account for the very different ways each species understood concepts like ownership and territory. She drafted a reply. Zarahai, I cannot provide official assistance, but I will forward your message to our embassy stations. They may be able to clarify the document's meaning. On the embassy station at the edge of human space, Administrator Taewoo Park read hundreds of similar messages every day. Desperate requests for help, clarification, or mediation flooded in from across the galaxy. Most were from species that had barely acknowledged human existence just months earlier. Sir, said his aide, Ensign Hyewan Lim, we have received an interesting message from the Clicktar hive. The Clicktar were an insect species that communicated through complex pheromone patterns. They had always been polite to humans but had never seemed particularly interested in deeper contact. What do they want? They are offering to share their advanced bioengineering techniques in exchange for human mediation in a dispute with the Void Dwellers. Taewoo raised an eyebrow. The Clicktar never share their bioengineering with anyone. What kind of dispute requires that level of desperation? Haiwan brought up the relevant files. The Void Dwellers are claiming that Clicktar expansion into the Empty Quarter violates a treaty signed 300 years ago. The Clicktar say the treaty doesn't apply to their new biocolonies. Both sides are mobilizing military forces. And they think humans can resolve this? According to the message, they have reviewed their historical records. Every major territorial dispute in the last 2 centuries that was resolved peacefully had human involvement. They quote their own phrase, "The great harmonizers must return. The galaxy sings discord without human voices." Taewoo was quiet for a moment. The great harmonizers. He had never heard aliens describe humans that way before. "Send," the standard reply. "The Terran Federation does not provide mediation services outside our own space. Suggest they contact the Council's Dispute Resolution Committee." "Sir, they already tried that. The committee has a backlog of over 4,000 cases and an average resolution time of 18 months. Not our problem anymore." Back on Earth, Director of Strategic Planning Jung-Hwan Cho briefed the Human Defense Council on the galactic situation. The room was filled with Earth's senior leadership, including President Bora Kim and Defense Minister Sung-Jae-oh. "The deterioration is accelerating," Jung-Hwan reported. "We are tracking 47 active military conflicts, up from 3 when we withdrew. Trade volume between alien species has dropped by 60%. At least 12 species have requested emergency council intervention to prevent internal collapse." President Kim studied the holographic displays showing the affected regions. "Are any of these conflicts threatening human space?" "No, Madam President. Our enhanced defensive measures are working perfectly. No alien vessel has been able to detect our new installations or penetrate our sensor screens. As far as the galaxy is concerned, human space has become a complete black hole." "Good. What about refugee requests?" "Over 2 million beings have requested asylum in human space. Species facing extinction due to the conflicts their governments cannot resolve." The president was quiet for a long moment. "Our official policy? Unchanged. We are not accepting refugees from conflicts we did not create. However, we are providing humanitarian aid through neutral channels." Defense Minister Oh leaned forward. "Jung-Hwan, what is your assessment of long-term galactic stability?" "Complete collapse within 2 years unless current trends reverse. The Council lacks the institutional knowledge and practical experience to manage complex multi-species disputes. They have relied on human intervention for so long that they never developed their own capabilities." "And the military situation?" "Also, deteriorating rapidly. Council forces are spread too thin trying to contain dozens of separate conflicts. Their command structure was never designed to operate without human tactical support. We estimate a 50% chance of galaxy-wide war within 18 months. President Kim stood and walked to the large window overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Earth looked peaceful from here. Beautiful. Safe. "Any recommendations?" "We stay the course, Madam President. We protect our own space and let the galaxy learn to solve its own problems. Even if it means billions of deaths?" Jung-Hwan's voice was steady. "We tried for 2 centuries to teach them better ways. They preferred to use us as a convenient solution instead of learning to be better themselves. The consequences of their choices are not our responsibility." Meanwhile, on the frontier world of New Busan, Captain Youngmin Bae monitored long-range sensors from his command post. His job was to track any alien vessels that might approach human space and ensure they respected the new boundaries. "Captain," called sensor technician Minji. "Oh, we have something unusual on the deep space array." "Show me." The main screen displayed sensor data from the edge of human space. A massive alien fleet was approaching, over 300 ships from multiple species. "Are they hostile?" "Unknown, sir. They are not broadcasting any aggressive intentions, but they are definitely heading straight for our border." Youngman studied the fleet composition. Ships from the Hegemony, the Federation of Rings, the Crystal Worlds, the Oceanic Alliance, and dozens of smaller species. Many of these groups were currently at war with each other. They are flying together, enemies cooperating. This is unprecedented. He turned to his communications officer. "Send a standard boundary warning. Inform them that human space is closed to all foreign vessels." The reply came back within minutes. It was from Supreme Commander Vextar himself. "Human Captain, we come, not as invaders, but as petitioners. We seek an audience with your leaders. The galaxy is dying. We need human wisdom to survive. Youngman had to read the message twice to believe it. Vextar, who had ruled half the galaxy for decades, was asking humans for help. "Sir," said Mingio, "additional fleets are approaching from other directions. It looks like every major power is sending representatives." "How many ships total?" "Over 1,000, sir. The largest peaceful gathering in recorded history." Youngman contacted Earth immediately. The response came directly from the Defense Council. "Do not allow any alien vessel to enter human space. Inform them that all diplomatic contact must go through the embassy stations." The message was transmitted to the alien fleets. The response was immediate and desperate. "Please, human captain," came a transmission from Admiral Quelix of the Trade Federation. "Our species are destroying each other. We have tried to resolve conflicts as you once did. We have failed. Our people are dying while we debate procedures and protocols." Another voice joined the communication, Commander Skelth of the Crystal Worlds. "We offer everything we have. Our technology, our resources, our knowledge. We only ask for human teachers to show us how to make peace instead of war." More voices added their pleas. Species that had never worked together were now united in their desperation for human help. Youngman felt a strange mixture of sadness and vindication. These same beings had treated humans as useful junior partners for centuries. Now they wanted humans to save them from their own failures. "The decision is not mine to make," he told them. "You must wait for a response from Earth." The alien fleets took positions at the edge of human space and waited. For 3 days, over 1,000 ships from dozens of species sat in empty space hoping for a chance to beg for help. 9 months after the human withdrawal, Grand Admiral Thexpool stood in his command center watching the galaxy burn. The massive holographic display showed red zones spreading like an infection across known space. Each red zone represented active warfare. There were now more red zones than peaceful areas. "Admiral," called Intelligence Officer Brixtel, "we have confirmed reports of the outer rim collapse. 17 star systems have gone completely dark. No communications, no trade, no sensor readings. Conquered or destroyed?" "Unknown, sir. The attacking forces appear to have vanished as well. It is as if entire civilizations have simply stopped existing." Thexpool studied the tactical display. In his 200 years of military service, he had never seen chaos on this scale. The Council forces were stretched beyond breaking point, trying to contain conflicts they did not understand with tactics that no longer worked. "What is the status of Operation Reconnect?" "Total failure, sir. Every attempt to establish communication with human space has been blocked. Our most advanced spy drones simply disappear when they cross the boundary. No explosions, no weapons fire. They just stop transmitting." "And the stealth missions?" "Also unsuccessful. We sent our best infiltration specialists using ships designed to mimic human technology. The results were the same. Complete signal loss at the border of human space." Thexpool turned to his strategic advisor, Commander Zelkoth. "In your professional opinion, what would it take to force entry into human territory?" "Impossible with current technology, sir. Whatever defensive measures humans have deployed operate on principles we cannot detect or counter. We might as well try to invade a dimension that does not exist." On the embassy station at the edge of human space, Boyoung Shin monitored the increasing desperation of alien communications. As the senior communications officer, she processed hundreds of messages daily. The tone had changed dramatically over the past few months. Early messages had been angry demands for explanation. Then came offers of trade deals and technology exchanges. Now the messages were pure desperation. "Officer Shin," said her assistant, Ensign Do-hyun Park, "we have received an unusual transmission from deep space." "Show me." The holographic display revealed a massive alien ship drifting in empty space. It was clearly damaged with hull breaches and failing systems. The design was unlike anything in the database. "Unknown configuration," Do-hyun reported. "But we are receiving a human emergency signal from inside the vessel." That got Boyoung's attention. "Human signal? That is impossible. All humans were evacuated from alien space months ago. The signal is authentic, ma'am. It identifies as Dr. Kyung Choi, xenobiologist, requesting emergency assistance. Boyoung frowned. Dr. Choi had been stationed on the research world of Haven. According to all records, he had been evacuated with everyone else. Open a channel. The transmission was weak and full of static. A human face appeared on the screen. Exhausted, injured, but definitely Dr. Choi. This is Dr. Kyung Choi, requesting immediate rescue. I am aboard an unknown vessel with 17 alien survivors. Our life support is failing. Dr. Choi, explain your situation. You were supposed to be evacuated months ago. I was. His voice was strained. But I returned secretly to continue research into the spiral plague. The work was too important to abandon. My alien colleagues were still dying. Boyoung felt a chill. Dr. Choi had violated direct orders to return to alien space, but the emergency situation took priority. Describe your current status. We were attacked by unknown raiders 3 days ago. The ship is heavily damaged. Life support will fail within 6 hours. We have wounded who need immediate medical attention. She could see alien figures moving behind Dr. Choi. They looked desperate and frightened. Dr. Choi, you are outside human space. We cannot send rescue ships beyond our borders. Then we will die out here. His voice was flat. But I want you to know the research worked. We found the cure for spiral plague. The data is in my personal files. Even if you cannot save us, please ensure the cure reaches those who need it. The transmission cut out. Boyoung stared at the empty screen. Around her, the communication center had gone completely quiet. Everyone had heard the conversation. Ma'am, said Ensign Park quietly, standing orders are clear. No human vessels may leave our space for any reason. I know the orders. But sir, 17 beings will die if we do nothing. Boyoung was quiet for a long moment. Then she opened a secure channel to Earth Command. The response came back within an hour. It was from Director Younghwan Cho himself. Dr. Choi violated direct orders and put himself in this situation. We will not risk human lives or reveal our capabilities for rescue operations in alien space. Monitor the situation but take no action. Boyoung closed the channel and returned to her duties. 6 hours later, the alien ship's signal went silent. But Dr. Choi's final transmission had an unexpected effect. The data burst containing his research on the spiral plague cure was intercepted by alien listening posts throughout the region. Within days, the information spread across the galaxy. The cure worked. Billions of alien lives were saved. And for the first time since the withdrawal, humans had shown that they still cared about alien suffering, even if they would not risk their own people to prevent it. Deep in space, Commander Rex High led a Council deep space exploration fleet toward the edge of human territory. His mission was simple: observe human space from a distance and gather any intelligence possible about their new defensive capabilities. Commander, called his sensor operator, we are approaching the coordinates where human colonies should be located. Rex High studied the readings. According to all star charts, this system contained 3 human colony worlds with a combined population of 12 million people. I see nothing. Run a full spectrum scan. The results made no sense. The star was there, the planets were there. But there were no energy signatures, no artificial structures, no signs of civilization. Take us closer to the 3rd planet. It should be their primary colony. As the ships approached, Rex High could see the planet clearly on visual sensors. It looked completely uninhabited. No cities, no orbital stations, no ships. Commander, this is impossible. Our intelligence shows this colony was evacuated only 9 months ago. Where are the abandoned buildings? Where is the infrastructure? Run detailed surface scans. The scans showed virgin wilderness. No trace of cities that should have housed millions of people. No remnants of spaceports, factories, or any other signs that intelligent beings had ever lived there. Sir, called the navigation officer, we have a problem. According to our star charts, this system should contain a human research station and 2 asteroid mining facilities. Rex High looked at the tactical display. Empty space where major installations should exist. Are we in the wrong system? No, sir. Navigation confirms our position. We are exactly where the human colonies should be. Then where are they? No one had an answer. The fleet spent 3 days investigating. They found 7 more systems that should have contained human settlements. All were empty. Not abandoned. Empty. As if humans had never existed there at all. On Earth, in a secure briefing room deep beneath the capital, Director Jung-Hwan Cho addressed a small group of alien diplomats. These were the representatives still stationed at the embassy facilities, the only aliens with any official contact with humanity. Ambassador Kethlin of the Peaceful Consortium spoke first. Director Cho, our intelligence reports describe impossible things. Human colonies that have vanished without trace. Human ships that disappear from sensors while being directly observed. Technology that defies known physics. What has your species become? Jung-Hwan smiled calmly. We have become what we always were, Ambassador. You simply never paid attention. That is no answer, protested Ambassador Veltar of the Trade Worlds. Our scientists cannot explain what they observe. It is as if humans have developed technology that operates outside normal reality. Perhaps normal reality is not as limited as your scientists believed. Ambassador Keithalan leaned forward. Director, please. The galaxy is tearing itself apart. Species that have existed for millions of years are facing extinction. Ancient civilizations are collapsing into barbarism. We need to understand what humans have discovered. Why? The simple question caught all the aliens off guard. So that we might... Kethlin struggled for words. So that we can achieve the same level of development? To what end? So you can use superior technology to dominate other species more effectively? No, so we can restore peace. So we can prevent the wars that are destroying everything. Jung-Hwan was quiet for a long moment. Ambassador, in 200 years of human involvement in galactic affairs, did your species ever ask humans to teach you our approaches to conflict resolution? That is, you were always available to mediate. That is not the same thing. Did you ever try to learn why human mediation worked? Did you study our methods? Did you attempt to understand our principles? The aliens exchanged uncomfortable glances. You preferred to use us as a service rather than learn from us as teachers, Jung-Hwan continued. Now you face the consequences of that choice. Ambassador Veltar made a gesture of frustration. But surely you can see that the current situation helps no one. The galaxy is dying. The galaxy is learning. For the first time in centuries, your species. 1 year after the human withdrawal, Supreme Chancellor Vexitar stood before an emergency session of the Galactic Council. The Great Hall was half empty. Many species could no longer afford to send representatives. Others had simply ceased to exist as organized civilizations. Fellow beings, Vexitar began, his forearms spread in a gesture of desperation. We face extinction, not from invasion or natural disaster, but from our own inability to coexist without human guidance. The scattered delegates listened in grim silence. The numbers were undeniable. 43 species had collapsed into primitive warfare. 16 civilizations had gone completely silent. Trade had dropped to less than 20% of pre-withdrawal levels. The Council hereby makes an unprecedented offer, Vexitar continued. We formally invite humanity to assume leadership of the entire galactic government, full authority over all member species, complete control of military and civilian operations. We offer this freely, without conditions. A murmur ran through the hall. Never before had the Council offered to surrender power voluntarily. In exchange, we ask only that humans return to galactic affairs and restore the peace we once took for granted. The message was transmitted to every human embassy station simultaneously. The response came back within hours, delivered by the same human who had announced their withdrawal a year earlier. Ambassador Hanil Park appeared on the communication screens throughout the council hall. She looked unchanged by the year of galactic chaos, calm, composed and utterly unmoved by the offer. "Supreme Chancellor Vextar, members of the Council," she said, "we have received your offer. We appreciate the trust it represents." Hope flickered through the hall. Perhaps the humans would accept. However, the Terran Federation must respectfully decline. We have no interest in ruling over other species. The hope died instantly. Several delegates made sounds of despair in their various languages. "But surely," Vextar pleaded, "you can see the suffering your withdrawal has caused. Billions have died. Entire worlds have been destroyed. Does human compassion mean nothing?" Hanul was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice carried a strange mixture of sadness and finality. "Chancellor, human compassion is exactly why we cannot return. For 2 centuries we enabled your species to avoid learning the difficult lessons of peaceful coexistence. We solved your problems instead of teaching you to solve them yourselves. Our compassion became your weakness. Then what would you have us do? How can we survive without your guidance? Learn. Grow. Evolve beyond your current limitations." Hanul paused. "Or don't. That choice is yours to make." The transmission ended. In the aftermath, panic spread through the remaining council members. Some species began immediate preparations for total war, deciding that if peace was impossible, they would at least go down fighting. Others retreated into isolation, hoping to avoid the coming collapse. A few, however, made a different choice. On Earth, in the mountain facility that served as humanity's primary government center, Sunho Kim addressed the Human Leadership Council. As the Director of External Relations, he was now the only human authorized to speak for the species in galactic affairs. "The final phase has begun," he reported to President Bora Kim and the assembled ministers. "Our long-range sensors detect massive construction projects throughout human space. The reality manipulation network is nearly complete." President Kim studied the holographic displays showing human space. What she saw defied easy description. Vast structures that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, energy patterns that curved space-time itself, technologies that operated on principles beyond conventional physics. How long until activation? 6 months for basic functionality, 2 years for full capability. Defense Minister Seung Jae leaned forward. "And the alien response to our final offer?" "Mixed. Approximately 40 species have sent formal requests to participate in what they call human ascension protocols. They believe we are preparing to transcend physical existence and want to be included. And the others? Most remain focused on their territorial conflicts. They cannot conceive of goals beyond conquest and expansion." President Kim walked to the observation window. Beyond the reinforced glass, she could see one of the smaller reality manipulation nodes under construction. It looked like a crystal, flower made of pure energy, petals shifting through dimensions that normal senses couldn't perceive. "Any regrets about our path?" Sunho considered the question carefully. "No, Madam President. The galaxy had 2 centuries to learn from our example. They chose to use us instead of learning from us. Now they face the consequences of that choice." In deep space, at the edge of human territory, Captain Youngmin Bay commanded the exploration vessel Transcendence. His ship was one of the first to be equipped with reality manipulation drives, technology that allowed movement between dimensional layers rather than through normal space. "Captain," called his navigation officer, Ensign Minji. We are receiving a transmission from an alien vessel. It appears to be alone and in distress. Display the message." The screen showed a being Youngman had never seen before. It looked like a living tree with silver bark and leaves that glowed with soft light. Its species was not in any human database. "Human vessel, I am Sylveon of the Grove Worlds. My people exist in the neutral zone beyond council authority. We have observed the chaos consuming the galaxy. We seek wisdom. This was unusual. Most alien contact attempts were demands for help or offers of trade. This sounded like a genuine request for knowledge." "What kind of wisdom, Sylveon?" "My people have lived in peace for 10,000 years. We do not understand conflict or competition, but the wars are spreading toward our space. Soon we must fight or die. We do not know how to do either. Youngman found himself genuinely interested. A species that had maintained peace for 10 millennia was remarkable in a galaxy addicted to warfare. What do you propose? Teach us. Not how to fight. We could never match the warrior species. Teach us how to exist beyond the reach of those who would destroy us. And what do you offer in return? The tree being was quiet for a moment. When it spoke, its words carried deep significance. We offer ourselves as students, not servants or allies or trading partners. Students who will learn what you teach and grow beyond what we are. This was different. For the first time since the withdrawal, an alien species was asking to learn rather than asking for solutions. Youngman made a decision that would change both species forever. Prepare to receive coordinates, Sylvian. You and a small group of your people may approach our embassy station. We will discuss what it means to transcend the limitations that bind most species to endless conflict. Weeks later, the first alien students arrived at human space. They were not representatives of powerful governments or military forces. They were philosophers, artists, and scientists from species that had chosen growth over conquest. The Grove worlds sent their wisest tree beings. The deep thinkers sent their most contemplative members. A few individual aliens from warrior species arrived, seeking alternatives to the violence that defined their cultures. Yunjung Lim, humanity's chief science officer, addressed the small group in a specially prepared facility. You are here to learn something that no council species has ever attempted to understand, she told them. Not how to become more powerful, but how to become more than you currently are. She gestured to a holographic display showing the galaxy. Every species that has achieved spaceflight has focused on expansion. More worlds, more resources, more territory. But expansion is ultimately limited by physical reality. The display changed to show the strange structures humans were building throughout their space. Humans have chosen a different path. Instead of expanding within existing reality, we are learning to create new realities. One of the alien students, a crystalline being from the thinking worlds, asked, "Are you saying humans have become?" Gazunjung smiled. "No, we have become gardeners. We plant seeds of possibility and tend them until they grow into new forms of existence. To what purpose? To explore questions that cannot be answered within the limitations of a single universe. To create spaces where consciousness can develop beyond biological constraints. To build realities where species like yours can evolve past the need for territorial competition." The alien students were silent for a long time. Finally, Sylvian of the Grove Worlds asked, "Would these new realities have room for species that seek wisdom rather than power?" That is exactly what they are designed for. Over the following months, more species sent students to human space, not governments or military forces, but individuals who were genuinely interested in transcending their current limitations. The warrior species that continued their ancient conflicts found their wars increasingly pointless. Human colonies that should have been targets simply weren't there anymore. Trade routes they fought to control led to empty space. Resources they battled over had already been replaced by technologies they couldn't understand. Slowly, a few species began to realize that humans hadn't just withdrawn from galactic politics. They had evolved beyond the need for them entirely. In the final scene, Ambassador Hanul Park stood alone in the empty council chamber. At 90 years old, she had returned one last time to deliver humanity's final message to the galaxy.